welcome back to Design Bundle's YouTube channel. If you guys are new here, my name is Crystal, and today I'm going to show you guys how to layer adhesive vinyl to create a sign. So I've got a blank canvas here. So this is actually in the painting department, but you can find these in the craft department. These are also, the wooden signs to do projects like this. You guys could definitely make these on your own as well. So I've just got a blank sign here. I've already got this pre-cut out. I used my Explorer 3. You guys could use whatever die cutting machine that you guys have. I cut this out with StarCraft adhesive vinyl and permanent, but you could definitely do this in removable so you can change out your sign. So I did this in blue, red, as well as this little gray piece right here. So all of these materials are going to be linked down below for you guys. I've got a squeegee tool here. I'm using parchment paper because we're going to do the parchment paper hack to where we can line this up and get it in one swoop on the sign. So I'm going to show you guys that today. And then we are using transfer tape. You could definitely even use contact paper from the Dollar Tree. And then I've got a pair of scissors to trim down my transfer. So let's go ahead and dive in. Now, what you want to do whenever you guys are going to be creating this, you want to start out with that top layer. So for me, I'm going to do this for my top layer. So whatever is going to be on the very top against this, you want to go that layer, the next layer, so on and so forth, if that makes sense. So let's go ahead and trim me down a piece of this transfer here. So I'm going to go ahead and get this now. Here we go. All right, now while I'm working on this, I want you guys to push pause and let me know what projects you guys are working on for the 4th of July. Are you guys making t-shirts? I want to know, what are you guys crafting? All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and line this up here. That way I have that, and then I'm going to cut off this excess, just like so. And I'm going to keep it on the bottom a little bit in case it overlaps down there, giving me enough room down here, so I left a little bit of excess. So what we're going to do, step one, is I'm going to go ahead and use my little squeegee tool here to pick up my adhesive vinyl. So we're just going to get this adhered to the transfer. I'm just going to squeegee that just like so. All right, now I'm using the parchment underneath me to keep my transfer clean instead of doing it on the table. So now what we're going to do is we're going to peel this at an angle, just like so. And then we're going to bring in the next one, which is our truck. So now to line this up, if you try to stick it like this and something goes wrong, it's going to be hard to remove it. So this is where the parchment paper can come into play. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your parchment and you're going to move it over enough to where you have space to, which underneath it would be fine too. So underneath, you guys are going to see I have room down here to where this can stick to this layer down here. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay this right here. So now as you guys can see, I can pick this up. I'm not committed, right? So this is, if I can get this picked up. So I'm not committed to that layer. So see, I can move this around. So that way I can shift this and move it all over, if that makes sense. So now what I'm able to do is line this guy up so I can get it absolutely perfect. So I'm just double checking my tire placement, my star, and all of that. Everything looks good. So once I'm happy with it, we can go ahead and rub down our transfer right here to the next one. You may want to stick it to your table since this isn't going to stick too well to the parchment. So then I'm going to carefully remove this piece of the parchment. And then slowly we are going to drop this guy down. So now you guys can see that perfect. I'm going to move this to make sure it's all right here on the parchment because you can see that this is not protected. So if I didn't have this parchment underneath us and I stuck this on the table, these letters are going to stick to the table. So always have that parchment underneath you and ready to go. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to rub my next pieces in, which is the truck and the word free. So we're going to rub it because we don't need to worry about the blue because we've already attached that. So I'm going to go ahead and rub down all of the red pieces to get them to adhere just like so. All right, so now we're going to remove this backing and we are going to work on our very last piece. I'm going to bring this guy back in here. And then we will bring this in. I'm going to bring this up so that way I have room to stick this. Actually, I'm going to stick this here. And then we're going to stick this piece here. And then now I can bring this down So that way I can stick my little flagpole on here, just like so. So I'm just going to kind of line it up right next to it, just like that. Stick these other pieces like this. Remove that parchment very carefully. And now we're going to rub down that final piece, just like that. So I only need to rub down that gray piece. So now what we have here, so if I flip this over, we can remove that for a minute. Now what we have here is an entire sticker. So whether you wanted to stick this as a car decal. So if you guys are looking for tips and tricks to create your car decals, this is a great way to layer those. So now this is ready to go stick on something. And if I need to, I would take my biggest piece and I can lay this on here. Now, obviously this one's not big enough, but I would be able to lay this back on the backing, rub it in, and you could be able to trim away the excess and you could sell this or whatever. Now, make sure that you guys have a corporate license. So for example, if you guys are using our Plus credits, if you guys are a Plus member and you guys are using the Plus credits, those automatically come with a corporate license. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and peel this back off again. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get me this parchment paper, but I want it to be a little bit shorter. And I'm going to explain that in just a second. So I'm just making sure I'm shortening that up a little bit here on the sides. There we go. All right, perfect. So this gives me a little bit of wiggle room, and I could probably even give myself just a teensy bit more wiggle room down here at the bottom. All right, so it gives me a little bit of play down here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick my parchment on here like so. So now I can go in here and I can kind of move this around to find the exact placement of where I want it to be. I don't have to worry about this excess here. I'm not concerned about that. Everything is fine. So I'm just looking at it, making sure everything looks good. Once I'm happy with it, I could go ahead and rub down one side to the actual canvas. And so I think I'm actually a little bit crooked, so I'm going to go ahead and pick it back up. And I'm going to go ahead and try to line this truck back up. Just a second. So I'm just trying to make sure my truck is nice and straight, paying attention to the land of the free as well as my free down there. So I think this is a lot more straighter than I had it the first time. So I think I'm good with it. So now once again, I'm going to rub down the open area with that transfer. And that's just going to allow me to lift this up and remove that parchment. All right. So now very carefully, and I'm actually, just to be safe, hold on, I take that back. I'm going to take off a little bit more of this. I'm not sticking this down. I'm just making sure I have a little bit more wiggle room here. And I'm going to take off a little bit more on the top, just to make sure when I go to lay this down, it's going to be flawlessly. So I'm not going to have too much excess. So now let's line that up again. It's never, it's never a bad thing to start over and say, okay, I'm not going to commit. So here we go. So I think this looks good here. Everything looks straight again. So now I'm laying down that edge piece once again. All right. And now what we're going to do is we are going to very carefully lift this up, remove that parchment. And then from one side to the next, I'm slowly going to go in here and lay all of these pieces down just like this. And it just makes it so easy. So now I can come in here and rub all of this down to the wooden canvas. All right, so now let me go ahead and get a corner going here so I can peel this up. There we go. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and start to peel. And if anything tries to come up with this, we're just going to lay it back down and put it down. But it looks, everything is good. But look at how super cute this is. This is perfect. So if you guys have one of those 2-tier trays for your coffee bar, this would be a perfect size sign for that. This would be something to set on your table outside by the barbecue grill, or maybe even in your living area at the office. On your teacher's desk. Tons of different things that you guys could do with this sign. I think it came out super cute. So I hope that you guys have enjoyed this. I hope that you guys found it helpful. If you did, please hit the like button down below and subscribe. And we'll see you guys on the next one.